I think it's really important that we don't make church only about the lead pastor and only about the preaching. I think it can be really unhealthy, actually, to build a church around a personality or a celebrity pastor. Because what happens if you don't like this pastor, so you go to another church for a better pastor that you think is better, and then they leave that church, or you start to disagree with that pastor. If that's the only thing that ever connects you to a church, it's a very kind of unstable thing to attach you to a church, because lead pastors come and go, and they shouldn't be the focal point of a healthy church. That said, if you do have disagreements with your pastor, I do think it's healthy to address them in some way, not just let them fester, because too many people sit in pews and just constantly have thoughts and complaints in their mind that they maybe talk to their friends about the pastor, and that's unhealthy. So if that's your situation, I would first ask yourself, what are my complaints really about? Are they superficial, silly complaints, you don't like the type of jeans the pastor is wearing? That's just something you need to deal with. But if it's substantive problems, you think the pastor is errant in his theology, or is kind of doing things habitually that aren't helpful, then I think you should find a constructive way to raise that. Don't be that guy who's just always right after the sermon going up to the pastor with a complaint or criticism. But I do think there's a place for that, and I would say address your issues rather than just leave, because a lot of pastors, I think, are open to hearing that, and if they're humble and if they want to grow themselves, and if it's an area they can grow in, then that's a good thing. Now, if you fundamentally just hate the pastor's personality, and if it's an aspect of the pastor that isn't going to change, then I think that's a problem, and you should maybe think about going to another church, because you don't want to be in a church where you're chronically angry and frustrated by the preaching every week. That's not a good thing. But yeah, I would say that only in rare circumstances should you kind of resort to just giving up on the church and leaving.